This is an oil pressure release valve from a Porsche 997, and it is a fantastic factory upgrade for your Porsche Boxster 986 or your Porsche 911 996. Now, I'll get the original out, and what this upgrade is for, this helps with the low RPM oil pressure and gets a more steady flow of oil going. So something we need to just be aware of on older cars, and it's a pretty simple upgrade with really just one bolt coming up. But let's get into it, and then we can compare the two different little pistons and springs. You don't need many tools to do this. You basically need a ratchet with a 17mm socket, and the new bolt is supposed to be torqued into 50 newton meters or 37 pounds-foot, but yeah, 50 newton meters. So I've got a small torque wrench to do that, but you could probably just get away with cranking it with hand tight. Part numbers for the spring, a washer, and the piston I will put into the description, so you can have a look them up, and I'll see if I can find links to Amazon to buy them. I got mine from my local Porsche dealer. Look, this is cheap, very cheap to do, and your local Porsche dealer usually gives you a discount because you have an older car, because you get the Porsche Classica discount. So before you start looking online, and if you're close to a dealer, even better, because you don't pay freight, because they'll just get them sent in, you just pick them up at the parts counter. But all the numbers will be in the description, and I'll see if I can find some Amazon links and put them in there as well. Okay, get idea of where we are under the car. This is the back. We're looking, there's obviously your sump, and we're coming to the front of the sump, and we can see all these radiator hoses, and that there in the middle is what we're doing. So you're gonna lose a little bit of oil. So I got my drain pan here. We'll see how much comes out. It says in the workshop manual not a whole lot, but yeah, let's see what happens. There's our 17, and oh, it's kind of tight. All right, we might use something longer, just because we got a funny angle. Now, don't recommend using a torque wrench for this, but I don't have my breaker bar handy. Up. There she goes anyway. So we use a little, got the gloves on. Now, there's the spring. And no piston, so that's going to be up inside there. We'll just have to give it a wiggle and see. Oh, there it comes. And it fell right out. Okay. Blech. We did oil change recently, so we're not going to do anything. It's just because that's the oil pump, and we have the car leaning forward, but we'll just top it off with whatever's going. We were slightly overfilled anyway, and there she comes. He's starting to slow down. Okay, a little bit of paper towel, and we'll clean this up and compare it to the new one. Now with this piston out, you can see the difference here. In particular, it's the top edge. So these are the 996, 986. See on here, it's straight. There's no little chamfered edge, where the new replacement has that chamfered edge. So apparently that makes all the difference. Now the other thing, of course, is the spring is different. It is an upgraded spring number, and must be a stiffer spring because it is, well, looks like a thicker metal, and I don't know if I can really feel the difference. That is quite firm, and yeah, that one's got more movement in it. This one is, the new one's quite a bit firmer. And then a crush washer is just a crush washer. So we'll put the new one on now. We'll remember. We're gonna, new spring. Oh, look at that. Conveniently, we have lots of oil here. And we'll, actually, I'll probably dip the, actually that's lubed up there. It's all slippery. I'll dip that in the oil that's come out just to And same with the new spring, just to make sure it's well lubricated. But that's what we're gonna do here. That just goes back in to where the other one just came out. Okay, so still see we're leaking a little bit, but we'll coat that. There we go. That's a good oil bath. And we'll just pop that in, slide it up, and get it started. And we'll have a look, because our oil drain pan does have lines, measurement lines in it, so we'll see what we lost. In the meantime, we will clean up a little bit. All right, now that we've wiped it down, we've got our torque wrench set to 50 newton meters, which is not a whole lot, but we'll just crush that washer. Actually, 50 newton meters might be more than I thought, but it's... There we go, 50 newton meters. Bang on. Now, some people have reported that this gets rid of the slight little engine tapping and knocking when you first start your car, which makes sense because it has to do with your low pressure, low RPM oil pressure. So we'll see if that makes a difference. We get a little bit of a tap just for a second. And it actually depends on what oil we're running. Some oils get it going, some don't. We'll see what difference that makes. All right, get it nice and dry so we can tell if it's leaking anywhere. But that should be fine because we torqued it up and we got that new crush washer in. Now you can see here also, we don't have this piece of plastic under tray on. That would have to be removed beforehand, but it's only a couple little plastic nuts and screws. But it's an easy enough job to do. That only took a couple seconds. Well, we lost more than a little bit of oil. Probably doesn't help that our car is just on an angle. If it's flat, it's only supposed to lose like half a liter to a liter. Where we have lost, there's the 5 line. And you can see that, and there we go. You can see the reflection is a 5 line, and there's the 4 line. So we just did a 4 liter drop of oil. So we'll be topping that up for sure before we drive off. So make sure you got some oil if you're doing this on an angle. And make sure you got some oil if you're doing it flat too. But yeah, you should have significantly less if it's flat.